XRP is currently at $3.41 per coin. And it's going so much higher because we are preparing to see all the institutional inflows begin as soon as the XRP ETF is approved. What we're going to talk about in today's video is Larry Fink and his vision for crypto as Blackrock CEO, a multi-trillion-dollar asset manager, and why I believe that if you are buying XRP now, you're getting in before trillions of dollars are going to be entering the market, meaning the upside. Stop thinking about $5 or $10 XRP and start thinking way higher. I'm talking triple digits, and maybe that is going to look too small once these institutions begin scooping up like they did for BTC. Now, remember, as always, never financial advice, just trying to put you guys on the plays that I'm in. If you're new around here, smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm and also consider subscribing to the channel. So let's go ahead and dive in and look at the overall market and also what Larry Fink is saying regarding crypto, buy now for XRP, and what we should be doing as investors. The overall market right now is actually on a little uptick. It's Saturday, July 19th. Weekends are usually low volume and we don't really see much movement across the market. But guys, we are holding up, and that's what matters the most. When we have significant surges, the last week we're seeing XRP up 24% in a 7-day period, which is absolutely insane. We're seeing Ethereum up 23%, outpacing and outperforming, Bitcoin only up 0.2%. And that's the thing you need to make sure you're locking in. And that is altcoin season has begun. We are playing catch up now to BTC, and I'm expecting to see everything begin to rally really strong. Now, Blackrock CEO, remember, you need to understand this is an individual who has $11 trillion of assets under management. And he is saying and forecasting a $700,000 Bitcoin because he's looking at it as becoming the new standard over gold. So what has he been doing? He's putting the money where his mouth is. What percentage of Bitcoin is now owned by BlackRock? Mind you, it's only been a year now. Last year, around, I think it was March 2024, we know that the IBIT ETF or the BlackRock ETF for Bitcoin Trust has begun trading. Since its launch on January 11th, but it actually started having real inflows around March, IBIT has grown at a pace that a few expected and no other ETF has ever matched in history. As of June 10th, 2025, BlackRock now holds 662,000, which is now more than 705,000 BTC, accumulating more than 3% of the total supply for their assets under management, which is valued at $72 billion. And today it's closer to much over $100 billion because they're approaching that 1 million BTC mark. So BlackRock accumulation over time, as you guys can see, month over month over month over month, they just continue to accumulate more and more Bitcoin to then offer to their individuals. And this is what hedge funds are doing, guys. Now, it starts with Bitcoin, and we know we've seen it now with Ethereum. And guess what's coming next? Yes, our very own XRP is going to be added to BlackRock's ETF, and XRP is going to be at the forefront because remember, Donald Trump made a statement and he doesn't go back on his word. We've learned that regarding the markets. He said that there's going to be a crypto stockpile that is created, and within it, it's going to be BTC, ETH, Solana, XRP is also included in that. So if the US is holding positions in these as reserve currencies, so what are they going to do in terms of a strategic reserve? What will institutions do? What will the hedge funds do that are hedging against the dollar's fall off or the dollar continuing to drop? Because we know DXY or the dollar index has continuously been on a decline, down about 10% since its highs in 2025. So with that being said, what you all need to understand together is front running. Front running means you are getting into something before big money starts to flow. We've seen it with Bitcoin. We've seen it with other cryptocurrencies. And remember, BTC not too long ago. I feel like a lot of people tend to forget. Where was Bitcoin once upon a time? It was also $2 and $3. Where is it now? $118,000 per Bitcoin. Do you think people ever assumed or thought it was possible that Bitcoin would go over $10, $100, $1,000, $10,000? Where are we at now? And people already, the naysayers have been coming out and saying XRP has been dead. XRP is no longer. Well, guess what? We just broke a new all-time high in 2025 before all the altcoins have even caught up to BTC's price action. And with that being said, I say that the floor and the ceiling continue to grow for XRP. When I say floor, I mean we're not going to be able to pull back as much as we used to, because now we have a floor of not just retail investors that are looking for a double up or a triple up on their investment. We're talking 10, 50, 100x potential returns for big institutions that are long-term holders for the next decade, 2 decades, 5 decades to hedge against inflation and hedge against the dollar. Now, this is where things are also getting interesting. One surprising reason to buy Bitcoin, according to Blackrock CEO Larry Fink, and that's, again, the title of today's video, and that is, yes, XRP today is at 340, but look what he's saying here. If you're into crypto, here's an idea you might not have heard of before. Bitcoin could challenge or could be ready to challenge the US dollar as the world's reserve currency. That type of transformative change, of course, would be history making, and it would require a fundamental restructuring of the global financial system. That's the key word here in this article from The Motley Fool and from NASDAQ. The restructuring of the global financial system. What cryptocurrency, aside from BTC with its store of value, has the ability to transverse the entire and restructure the global financial system? It's XRP. Sort of like what we're doing and seeing now with tariffs and potential for the global trade war. What is the hedge against that? Bitcoin. And, of course, other altcoins like XRP. In his annual letter to investors, BlackRock CEO Chairman Larry Fink suggested Bitcoin has the potential to replace the US dollar as the world's reserve currency. Is that scenario really possible? And if it is, what does that mean for the future? The case of the reserve currency. This is what you all need to make sure you understand as you come in and invest and venture into crypto. There's obviously a lot to unpack here, they said. The first is the entire notion of what reserve currency should be and what role it plays in the global economy. The easiest way to think of a reserve currency is that it's the currency that you need to do business worldwide. What country is not doing business with BTC right now? Middle East? Check. Qatar, the UAE, Russia, parts of China, Japan. You're seeing it kind of become a global phenomena. It needs to function as a medium of exchange for trade and investment, and it needs to be accepted and used by citizens in every sovereign nation. This is the problem and the issue that XRP will solve. Right now, we have banking institutions that settle transactions across nations, across borders. XRP is going to be at the forefront, whether it's for Bitcoin, whether it's for other cryptocurrency. XRP's infrastructure that has been built out by Ripple Labs has the ability and capability to continue to build on this narrative to make Bitcoin the reserve currency, with XRP being the utility currency that is ran under as a blockchain for these kind of transactions. Big money moving left and right, and small transactions, of course. So Larry Fink's letter says the US has benefited from the dollar serving as the world's reserve currency for decades, but that's not guaranteed to last forever. He points specifically to the nation's growing debt load, which has grown 3 times the pace of the gross domestic product since 1989, or the GDP. In 2025, Larry Fink says interest payments on that debt will reach $1 trillion, which is more than the US spends on defense and defense contracts. Mind you, BlackRock is the biggest investor in our defense system. At some point, it's not sustainable. The expanding US debt load is a potential house of cards, the unfortunate outcome of America living beyond its means for decades. This is the point that Fink drives home. The US doesn't get its debt under control. Its deficit keeps ballooning. America risks losing that position to digital assets like Bitcoin. So people are going to hedge against it. And who are these people? It's you and I as retail investors. And more importantly than even that, the best part is, guys, we are being able to witness and have the ability today. You have the ability to front run institutions. You have the ability to buy XRP, buy Bitcoin, buy Ethereum, buy whatever crypto you believe is going to do well as a hedge against inflation and as a front run, buying beforehand institutions. That's all you really need to worry about. And that's what you need to make sure you're focusing in on for this coming bull run. So guys, I'm excited. I'm excited to see where this all transpires. I believe we have a long way to go. I don't think we need to start thinking double digits. A lot of people on YouTube, a lot of people on social are saying double digits. Set the ceiling higher. Have investors come in and learn about XRP as not $100 goal. They're like, oh, I can 30x my money. I can do that with a meme coin. No, let's think $1,000 goal. Think bigger. I know it might not make sense today, but in 5 to 10 years, with a completely revamped financial structure and system globally, XRP could be at the forefront and it could be one of the winners. And we will go back in time and say, if only I would have been able to buy. And hey, If you're just trying to accumulate 10 XRP, 50 XRP, whatever it is that you can risk to lose, and able to stomach volatility on the ups and the downs, take advantage of it. I'm excited to see where this all goes. I'll be here as often as I can to share my sentiment with you guys. I appreciate your support as always. That's all I had for you today. And until next time, as always, everybody, keep investing. Peace.